Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Fortitude Fix. I hope you're well. My name is DaShanna and I make lifestyle and mommyhood videos here on this channel. I'm currently pregnant with our first baby due here in September, and I do have sickle cell disease type SC hemoglobin, and I wanted to just take the time today to film a update on all things pregnancy and sickle cell related. So if you're interested, go ahead and just keep on watching. And if you are new here, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I am on my way to reaching 1,000 subscribers here on this channel by sharing my story. I honestly was so nervous about even talking about having sickle cell because my symptoms are very mild, and I almost felt as if I didn't fit into this community because, you know, I wasn't experiencing so many sickle cell crises. I've only had one in my life, and I just felt almost as if my story didn't matter. But you know what? My story does matter, and so does yours. There's probably somebody out there right now who has sickle cell type SC, or maybe who has a baby with sickle cell type SC, and anything that I can say or do to help the community, uplift the community, offer advocacy within the community, share knowledge about sickle cell, I am all for it. So thank you all for being here, and let's go ahead and get into the video. I am currently 25 weeks pregnant right now. Part of the reason why I wanted to document my pregnancy journey is one, just for personal files, but one of the reasons I wanted to really upload it, I guess, for the world to see is to raise awareness about sickle cell disease. It is the most common inherited blood disorder in the United States, and my family didn't know that I had it until I was 2 or so, going on 3, and it really was because I happened to get pneumonia, and they ran some tests at that time and figured it out and told my family. So if you heard what I just said, it's inherited. So that means that nobody knew, my parents didn't know, or at least they didn't talk about their status as carriers. So sickle cell isn't one of those things that you just get randomly, especially the sickle cell disease, right? So that means that both parents have to have the trait to come together and create the disease, the full-blown disease, which I have. Now, there are a few different types of sickle cell. There's, you know, type SS, type SC. It all really has to do with your blood and your hemoglobin in and of itself. And so with that said, you know, becoming pregnant was always kind of this question mark in my life. When I was little, they told my mom that I needed to adopt and that I should never try to have children. Obviously, that was 30 years ago, and times have changed, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't proactive. I knew that when I met my husband, we talked about having kids, I want to say on our second date, third date, and I told him fairly early on that I had sickle cell, and I explained to him what that meant and what that could potentially mean for our children. And as we continued dating and got married and were really seriously talking about children, it was really important for us to get him tested. And so got him tested, and he does not have sickle cell disease. He does not have the sickle cell trait. And so if you all are familiar with those Punnett squares that we used to do kind of back in like science class, if I have the disease and he has nothing, then our children will have the trait. And so our daughter will have the sickle cell trait, and we are prepared to learn and figure out as we go, and be as informed in the very beginning, obviously, as well, what that means for her and what that means for us as parents. And we were just really happy that he didn't have sickle cell or the trait. So that was a really good thing. As I said earlier in this video, I was a bit hesitant on sharing my story because I couldn't fit into the conversation around being really sick all of the time. I have had one sickle cell crisis before. I had another, that was when I was 10 or 11. And then they said I had a mild one when I had pneumonia a couple of years ago. But I have been very blessed in that arena, but I still want to use my voice for good, and for those out there who may have a similar experience, or those who are just wondering what the experience is like from someone who is grown and who has sickle cell and who travels and who is about to have a baby and all of that. So I have not had any sickle cell related crises during this pregnancy. Like I said, I am 6 months, I'm 25 weeks at this moment, and we are super grateful for that. I do not take any medication specifically for sickle cell. I was on penicillin when I was little, up until about 5 years old, and after that, that was it. And I just continued to take my folic acid, and to be honest, I wasn't as good at that once I got into adulthood, but I am better now. So I spoke with a genetic counselor, and we had a bunch of conversations about my history, my health history, as well as my husband's. There was a lot of preconception work, doctor's appointments, and lab work and tests that we did. I did a 24-hour urine collection test where they were testing for protein. I did a pulmonary test where I did all these types of breathing tests and things like that. They did a ton of blood work for me, and if you have sickle cell, or you know someone who has sickle cell, they do quite a bit of blood work anyway. Just in general, I feel like people who don't have sickle cell, they get maybe 1 or 2 vials of blood taken sometimes. I literally get like 4 to 8 vials taken of blood every single time, because they're doing this and that and that and the other with it. So I am used to it, and of course then being pregnant on top of all of that, it's just even more vials, so it's just a lot of vials to go around. But they did a lot of blood work and a lot of testing to just kind of have a baseline of what my normal was. And then kind of, you know, once I got pregnant, we started doing the routine tests, and we would, you know, make sure that things were in line and that things were okay. And so far, so good. I am working with my OB. My OB is then working with my perinatologist. So I have a high risk OB. And then I also have a hematologist who is included on all of the communications and things like that, but I only meet with my hematologist about once a year, and I do blood work twice a year for my hematologist. That's about it. Things have been really, really good, and I think you know, they say that, you know, with people with sickle cell, they want to monitor you very closely, that technically I am high risk, which I am. I've had a meeting with my high risk OB as well, and she is very, very happy with how I've been doing and how I've been feeling. High risk OB was like, I really just hope that, you know, I don't see you that much, like, because if I don't, that means everything is great. And so I've had 2 appointments with her, and that's it. And I love my high risk OB. I'm a little bit of a softie for somebody with an MPH. So she obviously is an MD with a master's in public health as well. And that's really important to me, especially given my work in the public health sector, in, you know, child maternal health. I am a labor and birth doula. So just the philosophy behind doula work and midwifery, along with the issues in the Black maternal health sector and the disproportionate rate that which Black women are affected, is really near to my heart. And so being able to kind of craft this team to assist me during my pregnancy is pretty amazing. So I would advocate, I would tell you to create a team that you feel comfortable with. If you have an OB that is not listening to you, that is not answering your questions, you have the right to ask for a second opinion. You can change your doctors, and you know, you can go with a midwife. You can go, the midwife can work in conjunction with your high risk OB. I encourage you to advocate for yourself and ask questions. So part of this video, as you can tell by the title, is what medications am I taking now that I am pregnant with sickle cell disease. So I'm not taking anything too extensive, but I wanted to just start off by sharing. I am taking my Nature Made prenatal vitamin. So this is prenatal multivitamin with DHA. So I am taking this once a day. This is a value size. It comes with 90 soft gels and it's by the brand Nature Made. Honestly, I asked my OB and I was like, which one should I get? Like, which prenatal vitamin? She's like, honestly, they're all the same. She's like, they're all pretty much the same. Just make sure that it has DHA in it and you'll be fine. And so this is the one that I was able to get with our flex spending account at work. So it was covered and this is the one I got. So I got a bunch of bottles of these and I was taking these, let's see, about 5 months before I knew that I was pregnant. So we started this, listen, the minute we said we were wanting to start trying, I was talking to my doctors. Like I was not taking, this was no joke to me. So they told me to start that around 6 months before you get pregnant. And so we kind of figured out when we wanted to start trying. And so, you know, looking at the calendar, 5-6 months before that is when I started. So I've been on these for quite a while as I'm 6 months pregnant now. So there you go. So okay, I take one of the Nature Made. And in case y'all are like me, I'm hecka nosy and I want to know like what it looks like and such. So I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like. So here's the pill. I don't know what I could put it next to. Here's my cell phone. So here's the pill next to my cell phone. I don't have a problem taking pills. I know some people do. Honestly, just have yourself a nice glass of water and chug a lug and it'll be okay. Okay, next thing that I'm taking is my folic acid. So I am going to hide the tab simply because I got a prescription version. And the reason why I got a prescription version of folic acid as opposed to just buying it at the store is because the ones at the store, I believe they're only 450 mcg, so micrograms. And my high risk OB has me on 5 milligrams. In order for me to get enough folic acid from the 450 micrograms, I would have had to take a lot of pills at once, and I'm doing this every single day. And so I did find a 1000 microgram bottle, but it didn't have a lot of pills in it, but I would still need to take like 5 of those in order to get to 5 milligrams. So what I did was I asked my high-risk OB if she could make a prescription for me to get the 1 milligram folic acid. There are 100 tablets in here, which is more than what I would kind of see in the store. Plus it's already 1 milligram, so I would only have to take 5 of these a day. So I am taking 5 milligrams of folic acid. I started doing this the same time that I started the prenatals. So again, about 5-6 months before I was even pregnant. I guess it's been about a year now. And so these ones are a little bit smaller. Actually, a lot of bit smaller. So there's that. Again, here's my cell phone, okay? Super tiny, but again, I am taking 5 of them. And so my doctor wants me to have a lot of folic acid and I am all for it. The more folic acid, the better. It's helpful during pregnancy in the first place, even if you don't have sickle cell, but because I do, just amping that up, it only does good. So I'm happy about that. Again, please make sure to ask your doctor. Please make sure to do your own research. This is what's working for me. I do recommend folic acid for those who have sickle cell anyway. I think most of us know that and are doing that, but especially during pregnancy. So another reason why I decided to get a prescription is because since I'm taking 5 of these at a time, I wanted to be able to make sure that I had enough and never ran out. So with the prescription, I get, I think I got like 12 refills or something like that. And all I had to do was just kind of like reorder it, I guess, through my pharmacy. And because it's a prescription, I was able then to also use my FSA or my flex spending account for this medical related expense for my medication. So I was able to use the money that my husband and I had in this account through work to be able to use it for this. And so if you're not familiar with FSA or HSA, go ahead and just look that up. It's flex spending account or health spending account. And basically it's money that is put aside from your paycheck and it goes into this account, and then you have that money for other medical related expenses throughout the year. So that came in really handy. And the last thing that I'm taking right now is a low dose aspirin or baby aspirin. So this is 81 milligrams, and I just happen to use the Bayer brand. Now, I know some people with sickle cell have some concerns. They've heard stories or whatever. Again, this is just what's working for me. This was recommended to me at my 8-week appointment. So that was my very first ultrasound at 8 weeks. And my OB, so not my high risk OB, but my OB recommended that I start a low dose aspirin. So being a doula, being immersed in the health field, super interested in all things pregnancy, I had heard that people would take baby aspirin during pregnancy. Now, when she recommended this to me, I asked her why she was recommending it to me. And she said that I meet 2 of the criteria. And so the first criteria that I met was that I was a first-time mom. So this is my very first time being pregnant. And so she was like, okay, great, you checked that box, there you go. And the second criteria, which led to the recommendation, if I only had one of these, that would be different. But because I had 2, that then led to the recommendation. So the second thing is that I am African American. Okay, and so I was like, okay, so I meet these criteria. I'm Black and I'm a first-time mom. What does that mean? Basically, first-time moms and those of African American descent are more likely, they're in the groups that are more likely to get preeclampsia, right? And so preeclampsia, it's like high blood pressure, right? So it usually begins after 20 weeks of pregnancy, and it can be really serious. It can be even fatal. It can cause complications to pregnant person and to baby. Different things that it can include in terms of symptoms is, again, that high blood pressure, swelling in the hands and feet, and then protein in the urine. So again, that's another reason why they wanted me to do that baseline urine test, the 24-hour urine collection. They wanted to test the protein, see how much protein there was. And then I continued to do regular urine tests, even more so than someone without sickle cell. They say that it's rare, I guess if you were to Google it, like rare, but honestly, it's something that affects, right, Black women and first-time moms disproportionately. So after doing my research, I held on to the prescription and I was like, okay, do I want to do this? Do I not? And I thought about it, and then I decided to ask my high-risk OB, and I said this is what was recommended to me. I know that you have me on the prenatal and the 5 milligram of folic acid. Do you agree with this? Would you have recommended the same thing? She says, absolutely, I would have recommended the same thing, and here are the reasons why. And her reasons coincided with the reasons that my OB gave me, which also coincided with the research that I had done on my own. So I was hearing the same thing from multiple streamlines, and I felt comfortable enough to get it started. I have been completely fine. There has been no side effects for me or for sickle cell, and I've honestly been feeling great this entire pregnancy. If you're interested in getting caught up, go ahead and I'll leave the playlist right here, but I've been documenting my pregnancy ever since I found out that I was pregnant. And yeah, so basically this pill is even smaller, and it's hilarious because I can barely grab it. Do you all see that? And you know, for comparison, there's my phone and there is the pill. So I am taking 3 things. I am taking my Bayer, I am taking my folic acid, and then I am taking my prenatal. That's 3 different, I guess, bottles or medications, but I am actually taking 7 pills. 5, right, of the folic acid, my prenatal, and then the baby aspirin. So that is 7 pills every single day. And like I said before, I do fine with them. I take them all at once, swig of water, drink it, I'm good. I'm much better at pills than I am with liquid. So I'm very glad that this is not liquid. I am a baby when it comes to liquid. I can't stand it. My taste buds, my receptors are not I don't like it. So pills all day, every day. So that is what I am taking during this pregnancy. There are some other health things that I do. I mean, my husband and I juice twice a week. We make this beet juice. I'll leave the recipe down below if you're interested. And you know, we have this, we have a juicer and we just make fresh juice all the time, and it's really, really good, especially with the beets and the ginger that's in there and the carrots. It's just really helpful. I haven't been sick in a long time. I have some clips from those preconception doctor's appointments that let me know if you want to see those videos. I can start uploading them. Obviously they were filmed a long time ago before I was pregnant, but I think it might be really cool to start uploading some of that content, especially here for those who have sickle cell who watch my videos. So thank you all so much for watching. That brings me to the end of this video. I want to again remind you I'm on the road to reaching 1,000 subscribers, so if you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so. Go ahead and leave me an emoji down below. Let me know how your day has been, and I look forward to seeing you all right back here real soon in the next video. Thank you for being so supportive and so loving and making me feel comfortable to share my story and my sickle cell journey while pregnant here with baby girl. And yeah, I couldn't, I'm just so humbled. So remember to always fill your cup. I will see you all later. Bye.